Let's start. First, this is my report. Exogenic and endogenic processes. First topic. Exogenic processes. Exogenic processes includes geological phenomena and processes that originate externally to the Earth's surface. They are generally genetically related to the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and therefore to process of weathering, erosion, transportation, deposition, degradation, etc. And this is weathering. Weathering, the breakdown of dissolving of rock and minerals on the Earth's surface. The breakup of rocks by such agents as water, ice, chemical plants, and changing temperatures is called weathering. There are two kinds of weathering processes. First, mechanical or physical weathering. Second, chemical weathering. First, the first two kinds of weathering. Mechanical or physical weathering refers to the breaking up of big rocks into small fragments without changing the minerals content of the rock. This process is also disintegration. Growing roots or plants on the rock and acid rain can dissolve rock over time. Once the water freezes and expands and the rocks become winter, a boulder becomes small fragments of sand and gravel over time. Next, chemical weathering. Chemical weathering decompose or decay rocks. Soil is product of weathering. Sand, mud, and other rock fragments are also produced. The three types of chemical weathering. Hydrolysis is a chemical reaction of the interaction of chemical with water. Carbonation is mixing of water with carbon dioxide to make carbon acid. Oxidation occurs when oxygen combines with other substances and create compound called oxidize. Next, the erosion. Erosion is rock that are weathered into smaller fragments, and sediment are easily moved from one place into another through the process of erosion. Mass wasting. This process, also known as mass movement or slope movement, happens when soil and regulate and rocks move downslope typically as a mass due to the force of gravity of due to flow of water and water content as submarine environment and mudslide. However, mass wasting occurs at very high speed during rock slides or landslides with hazard environmental consequence. They have types of mass of movement. Soil creep, gravity pull down slope the soil or rock in different direction over time. Landslide is also called landslip. It is rapid movement of a large mass of earth and rocks down a hill of mountain side when there is tremendous damage to environment. The common forms of landslide are slump, slide, rockfall, debris fall, and avalanche. Next, flow. These includes avalanche, mud flows, deb- debris, de- debris flow, earth flows, lahars. Water, air, and ice are often involved in enabling fluid-like motion of material. Slump involves a mass of soil or other material sliding along a curved surface like a spoon. This could resort to various formations such as a small serpent cliff or abrupt scrap at the top of the end of the slope. Fall. A rock fall, for example, is where is the relative movement down a slope but the volume of viscosity is not sufficient to behave as a flow. Undercutting of waters as well as undercutting of waves from falls. The rock materials are sometimes loosed by earthquakes, rain, plant root weeding, and expanding ice. Next topic, sedimentation. In geology, this process is the opposite of erosion. It is the tendency of particles in suspension of settle out of the fluid in which they are entered and come to rest against a barrier. Force affects the process of gravity, centrifugal acceleration of electromagnetism. The second topic, endogenic processes. Endogenic processes, geologic events such as the formation and displacement of rocks and the evolution of ocean sediment above sea level due to force strong enough to cause tectonic plates movement and subduction as well as volcanic activity have changed the surface of the earth from its original form. Folds. It's a bend in rock. They are factor must be met or the formation of rock to occur. These are the following: rock materials must have ability to form under heat and pressure. The higher in temperature of the rock, the more plastic it becomes. Pressures must not exceed the internal strength of the rock. If it does, fracturing occurs. Deformation must be applied slowly. Types of folds. Monocline. Form when there is a slight bend in an otherwise parallel layer of rock. Anticline. Form when there is the convex up fold in the rock that is similar to like structure which the rock bend, dipping away from the center of structure. structure. Cyclone form when where the rock layers are up downward as a result of compressional force. The greater the pressure of anticlines and synclines are more inclined and asymmetrical. Next is recumbent. This form if the center of the fold moves from being once vertical to horizontal position become comparison and force is stronger in one direction. Example of these folds are usually found in the core of mountain. Faults. A fault is formed in the rock when stress overcomes the internal strength of the rock resulting in the fracture. Fault occurs from both tensionally and compressionally force that can cause of displacement of once connected blocks of rocks along a fault plane. Types of faults. Normal faults occurs when tensional force act in opposite direction, causing the footwall to push upward and the hanging wall go downward. Next, reverse fault occurs when comparison force causes one block to be pushed up and over the other block. Graben fault occurs when tensional stress results in the subsidence of a block of rock, just like the so-called rift valleys. Horse fault occurs when the two reverse faults cause a block of rocks to be pushed up. Strike slip fault of transform fault occurs when the stress are extracted parallel to each other. Next, the importance of faults and faults. Faults and faults reflect the internal energy of the earth, and both are equally important to us. For instance, actinides and horse are source of oil pure, whereas cyclone and garbage have rock materials that accumulate water forming and ground water veins, which is our source of water drinking and our purpose. That's that's the importance of poles and faults. Another, in the structure of the building must be remembered. The faults are weak zone, so it should be avoided because the possibility of upward leakage of lava forming seal of decades of groundwater forming springs. Thank you. That's all.